Welcome everyone. I have a short yoga practice for you today. We're going to do some yoga poses or asana. And the word asana in Sanskrit means seat. And one way to understand this is that the reason why we do yoga postures at all is to help prepare the body to sit in meditation, which is quite hard for our modern bodies often to sit for an extended period of time because it's not something we are necessarily practicing a lot. So there are many ways you can prepare the body for meditation. And I would say, in fact, most of our yoga postures are going to do this in one way or another. We're going to do a really simple and short, gentle yoga practice. And then we are going to do a seat, an example of a seat supported by the wall, a bolster, and a blanket. If you don't have exactly these things, then instead of the bolster, you could have pillows or cushions or folded blankets, anything that you can sit up on. A blanket or a large bath towel would work well. And having some kind of wall or a piece of furniture that's comfortable to sit against behind you would be good. And this is a floor-based practice, so if that's not appropriate for you, this may not be the practice for you right now. So we're going to start by just taking a moment to feel into your body. Perhaps you're seated in any comfortable position. Just noticing where you feel sensation, where you feel tension present, where you feel supported by the floor or the wall or the props. Finding the flow of your breath. We're going to turn your head gently towards the right. And then you're going to nod your head over on the right side, just noticing sensations as you go. Moving slowly. And where there is sensation, especially if you're getting stronger sensation, you're just going to go into those areas, the edges of the sensation, just gently. No need to push into any of that. And then chin comes level. We're going to turn the head over to the left side, nodding the head over on the left side, and very possibly a whole different set of sensations is happening here. And then chin comes level, head's going to come back to center. From here, we'll do some cat and cow movements. So you can do these in seated. You'll want some space from the wall where you're rounding your spine back and then lifting your heart forward as you lift the gaze. Or we can do these on all fours if that is an appropriate position for you. If it's uncomfortable to have your hands on the floor, you might just come up on your fists here. Sometimes that makes it a little easier on the wrists and hands. Feel free to have some space between your hands. Maybe even to have the hands a little forward of the shoulders if that's more comfortable. And feel free to place a blanket or some other padding underneath your knees. We're going to take a couple of breaths here, just slowing the breath down. And then as you exhale, you're going to come towards your cat pose. So the tail tucks, and spine arches up like a rainbow. Head's going to hang. And we're going to take a few breaths in cat. And then use an inhale to come towards cow pose. Head up and tail up, heart through. Belly descends. Shoulder blades may be sliding in towards the spine a bit. And then you're going to go from one to the other, starting to follow your own breath. So you might inhale into cow pose and exhale into cat pose, or you might find that for you it makes more sense to do the opposite. As you go, see if you can feel into what parts of your spine are moving well, and where maybe your spine is a little stiffer. And I do want to say that we don't necessarily need to fix that some parts of the spine are stiffer. That is by structure. But we do want to try to get those stiffer parts of the spine moving. So if there's a part of your spine that's doing most of the work, see if you can quiet that and maybe get a little more movement from parts of the spine that are a little bit harder to move. When you feel complete here, you can come into any resting pose, including just coming back to your seat, taking a moment here again to feel what's maybe different. Noticing what you notice. And then we're going to bring the right hand down to the floor or your lap. Left hand's going to come up if your shoulder allows, and we're going to do a little bit of a side bend over to the right. Now, if you happen to be sitting against the wall already, you can use the wall to kind of feel what your body's doing. So you can feel if you're coming all the way straight over to the right or if you're rolling forward somewhere. Seeing if you can get a little bit more even movement over to that right side. And then the other thing that can happen here is sometimes we are moving really a lot from the waist or even the hips. Maybe one hip is lifting up. And maybe we can quiet that and really focus on bringing that opening sensation up into the side of the rib cage and the armpit. Even bringing some deep breath into that area, using the breath to open up a little more space. And then you're going to reach that arm up and over, bring that hand down to the lap or the floor. If your right shoulder allows, you're going to bring that right arm up and over. And again, we're looking for a nice even opening through the whole side of the body. Bringing some breath into the armpit, the side ribs. Both sitting bones grounded, legs quiet and at ease. You're going to reach through that hand and come up. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So feet can be further away from your body or they can be closer to your body depending on what you're feeling. Sometimes it feels best to sit up a little higher, so you may already have your cushion or your blanket underneath you. If you have blocks or you just want to put blankets underneath your knees for some support there, that's fine as well. And then we're going to fold forward here. So it might just be chin to chest. It might be rounding the whole spine forward. It might be leaning forward out of the hips. Just letting the arms come wherever they come. And feel some breaths moving through here. Allowing the inhale to lift you a little bit. Settling where you can as you breathe out. Taking your time to notice what happens when you go slowly and give yourself a few breaths. Not forcing, but getting curious about what changes when we spend time. And then when you come up, you're going to walk your hands back towards you. You might bring your hands onto your legs to give them some support as you bring the legs out in front. If it feels good to do a little windshield wiper here with the legs, you're welcome to do that. If you know for you personally that you have another stretch that you would really like to do, please feel free to do that as well. And then to set up for our seated posture here, we're going to take whatever you're going to sit on. And I have quite a large cushion here, so you can play with kind of what works for you. And I'm going to put that right up against the wall. And then I'm going to take my blanket and I'm going to open my blanket up so that I have a longer, this is I think a quarter of my full blanket. So I'm just looking for a little more length. And then I'm going to fold that. And I'm going to start at the folded edge so I get a really nice firm roll. Now it's a little harder to keep the whole roll firm when you're using a large roll. I'm going to roll that whole blanket. So I got a nice long roll like this. So the bolster is against the wall. I'm going to come and sit on top of it. I'm going to bring my legs out in front. And the first thing I'm going to do is feel into the connection to this bolster, feel into my connection to the wall, make sure everything feels okay here. Sometimes we need to experiment a little bit with what we sit on to find the right support for us. And then I'm going to actually lift my knees up a little bit here. I'm going to take this long roll and I'm going to wrap it around my ankles. And then I'm going to allow my knees to come down again. So I'm coming towards that cross-legged position. But I'm doing it with this blanket wrapped in around the lower legs. And it's wrapped in between the leg that is stacked higher and the foot, right, at the lower leg. And then same on the other side where it's supporting underneath this shin bone. And I'm just tucking it around. And you can take a few breaths to see how that feels. So a cross-legged position is always asymmetrical. We're going to have one leg that's a little higher, one leg that's a little more in front. But both legs are being supported by this blanket. I'm going to let my body rest against the wall. Take a few breaths to notice how this feels. And we're looking for something that feels comfortable and easy. So if you need any more adjustments to feel a little more comfortable here, you may kind of just get curious about what additional support would be helpful or how you want to tweak this setup for your own body. So we're not going to do a long meditation practice today, but you absolutely could. So if this is feeling like a little bit of prep work and then this support here is really nice, you might use this. For our purposes today, we're just going to take a few mindful breaths. Noticing the sensations and direction of your breathing. Noticing the support of the wall and the props. Letting everything get quiet for a moment. And then when you feel ready, you can bring your hands to your heart if you like. Taking a moment just to give some gratitude for this moment, for your own practice. If you enjoyed this, these are some ingredients that can really help us be successful with seated meditation. First, doing some yoga postures beforehand to loosen the body up a little bit. And what you personally need to do may vary from person to person. So if it's not the few postures I brought in today, maybe you have some ideas of what will work really well for you. Or work with a knowledgeable teacher or yoga therapist to find that practice that works for you. And then providing the right support so that you have really some ease in the posture so that you're able to be present for a more extended period of time. If you have any questions or you want to share your experiences, I'd love it if you did that in the comments. And I hope that you found this really helpful and supportive for your own personal seated meditation practice. Take really good care, and may we all be balanced and well.